moment to reflect back on everything we've talked about over the past 3 days, and these are the 5 things that we've learned at the Digiday Brand Summit. I hope everyone can agree. If you want to talk about it afterwards, you can come find me. All right, so let's get started. 5 things we've learned. When it comes to understanding data, we're in the same boat. That's at least the takeaway that I had and what it feels like. Everyone is getting multiple, data sources from multiple platforms, and a lot of people don't know what to do with it. If you have the secret to figuring out all this data, you've kept it to yourself, because what it sounds like is everyone is having a hard time with this. And another, unifying agreement is that it shouldn't be as hard as it is. I think it was Adam from Walgreens yesterday who said, it's kind of hard to believe that we're entering 2016 and we haven't come to one solution, to an easy way to look at, everything that you're trying on different content platforms and social media, channels, and see what's working and how to drive, engagement and awareness, and really see what's working and go from there. But I think another important thing that we talked about, and I think Amanda just mentioned this, it's important to think about ROI differently. Rather than just conversion and financial returns, it should be, the download of a mobile app, or hey, we tried this technology and we figured something out that's really cool. So ROI at the end of the day doesn't have to be hard conversion, and I think that'll help people really take their data and think about it in a new way and not get frustrated when they're not seeing the clear as day results. All right, and so physical change encourages collaboration and drives culture. This is an important one because obviously a big theme that we are seeing on the challenge board, we're talking about it, this isn't new obviously, but breaking down silos and sort of taking very traditional legacy brands into the modern age by encouraging collaboration among teams, young digital teams merging with, the sales team and the legal team. And a lot of that representation comes through the physical layout of an office space. So we see the walls coming down. We heard of people, changing the way that people walk around the office to encourage collaboration. Priceline, Scott from Priceline had a great talk on how whenever they're working on an idea that might drive innovation for the company, they physically take everyone who's working on the project and put them in a specific place so they can see each other, talk to each other really easily. Obviously, there's going to be some resistance with that. People aren't used to this. They are, used to their office, and that's hard to break out of. But it can really encourage collaboration, but the important thing is that you don't rely on the sheer physicality of a new desk space to drive and change culture, because it's not as easy as checking off a box or moving a desk. It has to be the driving mindset behind the management team and just getting people on board in order to make the change as seamless as possible. So that's another great one that we talked about. So the brand agency tension is real. I think someone else, I don't know who it was at this point, but someone mentioned the words knowledge tension. So brands are being encouraged to produce so much more content than they used to. They have to have, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach to social media. So you have to have something for Instagram, trying out Snapchat. So as they're creating all of this content and exploring new platforms, a lot of brands you'll see looking to agencies for help. Can you help us figure this out? Can you help us make a great Snapchat campaign that'll get people talking? So that's been a big, point of the agency-brand relationship. But now, as brands are realizing that they need to know about this stuff too. So they're kind of taking some of that knowledge back and wanting to bring things in-house again. So it's not that they're dividing up the pie any smaller between brands and agencies. It's just that it's getting bigger. So it's causing some growing pains between that relationship. But we heard some great stories about that. So number 4 is video is king. Wow, we hear the phrase content is king so often that I don't even like saying it out loud. I realized that our discussions about content always sort of ended up talking about video. I think video is, you can hire comedy writers like Groupon and really perfect your tweets, and 140 characters are, you can really master that. But video takes up a lot of time, and it's hard to do, and you have to format it and change it for different platforms. And I think Joey at Cisco said that their Vine videos actually do better on Instagram. So video is a challenge because no matter what people are looking at, they want a good, clean video in front of them. And if it's not that, then you can really tell easily that your videos aren't going to catch on and do much for your brand that you want them to. But of course, it's hard work. So figuring out video is a big point across all platforms. And finally, resources are stretched thin. I think that's a unifying theme in the past things I was just talking about. If you need to create great video, you need someone who knows video, and you might not have that person on your team. And social media teams are about 5, 6 people that we've heard of, that we heard from people who are talking today, and those that you have a lot to do. As Casey from Groupon said, it would be really great to approach people in different cities, but they have a 6-person social media team, so that it kind of has to be more of a catch-all approach. So, and obviously, when it comes to understanding data, going back to the first point, that requires a lot of people, a lot of hands on deck, and a big, group that we've talked about is the intern. So they know about these new platforms that are coming out. They're good at them, and they can do some of the busy work while companies are focusing more on innovation and new strategies. But obviously, interns shouldn't be like a resting point for companies that are looking to advance and grow. So thinking about where to put budgets and how to measure data and how to tackle new platforms and create great content is obviously stretching everyone a little thin. Everyone's wearing multiple hats. So it's a big issue, but I think going into the new year, it's really great to take these things and sort of think about them and everything that everyone's talked about. There's a lot of great advice. So I hope everything was really helpful. If there's anything else you feel like you guys took away from it, that's great too. But we felt like these things kept coming up, and it's great to come together and talk about these things, because especially when it comes to things like data and attribution and being where your customer is but not knowing what that means for the ultimate conversion, it's good to not feel like you're out there alone and everyone's sort of facing the same things. So that's all I have for our 5 things. We're going to invite up our CEO, Nick Freese, who's going to close out the summit. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Hilary. Thank you. That was great. All right.